Hi, so my name is Anjali. I stay in the USA in Maryland. I got pregnant when I was 39 years old, and I in Feb 2020 is when I found out that I'm pregnant. And I was very happy because I wanted a baby, but I also had concerns because of my age. I was approaching 40, and then the pandemic hit, and then there were all these concerns regarding I couldn't go anywhere, and there was so much uncertainty with what the virus is like and whether it will affect babies, whether it affect mothers, breastfeeding, all of that. But I was excited, and the timing actually worked perfect for me because of the pandemic. We were home, so I had a lot of support from my husband. He was helping me. But there, I had, because of these concerns, I wanted to speak to somebody I knew. So I reached out to Neha because I knew she was a doula and she had worked in that field for a couple of years, and she had done her certifications and she had a lot of knowledge. And I know she's a positive person from my interaction with her before also. So I knew that would be helpful to me when I'm along the journey. And then I think in the end of the second trimester, third trimester was when I attended the classes. That was a lot of knowledge which helped in making decisions, especially when the actual birth started. For me, for some reason, my blood pressure would always spike when I went to the doctor, which is why they asked me to monitor it. But at home, it was always normal. So there was no concern. But when I reached my 38th week, my blood pressure again spiked. And the doctors sent me to the hospital saying that they wanted to induce me. But I was not keen because I knew my blood pressure is normal at home. So it was just a random blip. But still, I had to go to the hospital since they were insisting. At this time, I reached out to Neha on the phone, and she kept telling me, like, don't worry, they have to do it. But as long as you are okay and the baby is okay, they'll send you back and you don't have to worry. And that's exactly what happened. So that was a big help to me, just being able to speak to her and know that she was there, and she had seen cases like that. And she was, again, just talking to somebody who's seen multiple births, multiple people who've had the same problems, same issues, helps a lot. And then after 2 weeks, actually I was late, so 40 weeks 4 days is when my water broke. And again, this was middle of the night. And again, I was in the US, but she was in India. So again, I couldn't reach out to her, message her. She kept telling me what to do. She said, don't go to the hospital unless your contractions have reached 411. You go into labor actually when you reach those contractions, which I had learned in the class. But again, just being on the phone and messaging her reminded me that it's not yet time to run to the hospital. Though when I called the doctor, they asked me to get admitted, which I ignored for the time being. I stayed at home, I slept, and I went in the morning. So I got that extra period of rest again because of the assurance that Neha said, like, it's fine. And it was fine. So a lot of these things helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Because I remember the last class, I think, where you had told us about the breastfeeding basics, like tummy to mummy and breast, what, nose to nipple. There were some four rules.
Yes.
So all of that was stuck in my head. And I was also lucky that she was a good baby. I had no issues with latching. In the hospital itself, like they teach you basics a little bit. The nurses are very helpful and stuff. So with their help and with remembering what all you had told me, I, touch wood, was lucky enough that I did not have any issues.
I think the classes were really helpful, like because especially you help lay out like the steps that will happen, what the procedure is, like how the baby moves within the body. All of that was extremely important, right? Like all of that stuff, including the steps that immediately after birth, including like you should have
The golden hour,
the golden hour, the chest to chest contact and stuff like that. Like all of that was really helpful, and we made it a point to ensure that the hospital, based on your advice, essentially like follow those procedures, right? Actually, Amira got like close to 90-95 minutes of chest to chest contact right after
skin to skin.
skin to skin contact right after birth. And actually, like, based on some of the videos that you've shown, like, actually went and started feeding immediately, right, which was like amazing to see. Even the epidural part, like, we held out as long as possible, right, because I think we got to the hospital around 8:39 in the morning. Epidural, actually, she didn't take it till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, right? But like towards the evening, like when dilation wasn't moving and stuff like that, there was the different positions that we tried again, because stuff that we learned in class. So that definitely helped, and starting in those different positions is basically what helped push get into full on labor, right? And that's basically when um, went into full on labor. That's when Amira was essentially ended up being born, and that's how everything happened. So I mean, it got to the point that she pushed hard enough that the baby started crowning and the doctor wasn't ready. So then there was like everybody was scrambling around.
Yeah, this even I remember because I was like, I'll take some time. Nobody's like looking like even remotely ready that the baby is going to come. They're just telling me push with every contraction, which you can see on that machine. So I'm like pushing. And then suddenly the doctor said, hold. And then he went running, put on his scrubs, got his tray, called the nurse, and this and that. I'm like, what is the hurry? What is going on? Why is everybody running around suddenly? Yeah. And then the nurse put my hand on like the baby.
On the baby's head.
Then I was like, she's almost out. I can feel her. That was like shocking.
Start when we got admitted and we went to the birthing suite, essentially, we gave them what the birth plan was, right? We this is what we want to do, like, this is the sequence of events and stuff. This is how we want to do. They were very receptive. The problem was because like she was in labor for like nearly 12-14 hours. There were 3 shifts of nurses that went through, right? So we had to keep giving, making sure like every shift the nurses know what the plan was. At least they listened to us. They made sure like what we wanted was given first preference. And then of course the medical needs will always supersede whatever preference is, right? So like even the epidural and stuff, like they were like, do you want it? And we were like, no, let's hold off. Finally it got to the point that it was just too painful, and she was like, yeah, okay, now let's just do it.
Even like in the hospital, when they started the Pitocin, I would have been like, what the hell? What are they trying? Kya ho raha hai? What is the point of it? But I didn't have to ask any questions. I knew exactly what's going on, why they're doing it, what is going to happen with that. So it's fine. I wasn't scared really.
That's
no information is key, right? Like, and the more information you have, the better it is. Um, especially for something like this, where you essentially 2 lives are in jeopardy, right? The mother and the child. As much information as you can get prior to the fact that you get into a hospital, the better it is, right? Like we can read all the books and stuff like that, but actually sitting for class and like answering questions, right? Stuff like that is always going to be a different level, because that kind of stuff sticks in your head. You can read like 10 books, but not everything is going to stay. Sitting for class and stuff, that sticks in your head, at least for me, right? Like it's